Alrighty, hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now, I've talked about this particular topic, I think, twice before. The first time, I didn't have a lot of good to say. I mean, it was very, very early, and there was a lot of bugs and a lot of features that I didn't like, or a lot of lack of features, rather. And then I followed it up when there was a little bit of an update, and then recently, well, not recently, actually, this is kind of old news if you're regular on Fiverr and you know about this, but not that long ago, there were some changes, and a lot of them, or at least one very specific one, were actually things that I seriously wished that they had and seriously didn't like that it didn't have in my first video when they first rolled out. And one of them is, so basically we're talking, I forgot to even say, so we're talking about the promoted gigs on Fiverr. That's what we're talking about. Like I said, I had already done 2 videos. One of them, I didn't have a lot to say. I take back nothing that was in that video. But now, they've actually changed and updated it, and there are some things that I really wish that they had in the first video that they actually have now. And I want to praise them for these things, for these features being now available. And one of them was the ability to more accurately scroll back through the timeline and see how your gigs have been performing. Before, I think you were limited to, I think it was like 60 days, 30 or 60, it was like 60 or 90 days that you could actually scroll back and see how your gigs have been, how your promoted gigs have been performing and how much they've been pulling in versus how much you've been spending. And that's not a lot of time. That's not very useful, or it wasn't very useful. Mostly because when you run a business, you want to be able to see the yearly average. You want to see if there's any difference between some months and other months. Are there some months that are more profitable? Are there some months when there's more activity on the website? Are there some months that, you didn't get anything versus others? But only 60 or 90 days, whatever it was, doesn't really help you at all plan the following year. Because let's say that there's a particular month where you pretty much don't get anything, and that's been consistent throughout the years. Then basically what you would do is you would just not even bother with it on that month. You wouldn't waste money promoting those gigs on that month. And then there are other months when it's far more profitable, when it gets far more traffic and gets far more clicks and notices. You would spend the money that you didn't waste on the month when you got nothing on that month and try to double down. That is, a common business practice. It's a common strategy. And that's the kind of thing that I wish they had. Well, they have that now. You can now basically go back I don't know if you can go back infinitely because it hasn't been around that long, but I've been able to scroll back all the way to when it first started and see exactly all the progress. And because of that information, I was able to cut out these gigs. Like, this one's useless, this one's useless, this one's useless. And that's good. That's good. That's exactly what you want. You want that feature. You want that ability to actually look back and be able to calculate loss and gain. So that's good. There are a few things that, again, there were some things, and they still exist, that I wasn't sure about that had positives and negatives basically at the same time, and it's one feature, and that was the limitations. That was how limited you are on certain things. You can only spend so much on a gig, and you can only spend so much per day. Here's why that's a positive. Let's start with the positive. This means that you can only spend so much on a gig. I think it's a maximum of $3. I think that's $3 a day. Is that $3 a day? I don't remember. But there's a limitation on how much you can actually spend per gig. The good part of this is that people who just have a tons of disposable capital can't just bum rush and just stampede over everyone by spending a whole bunch of money on their gigs. That's good. It gives everyone a little bit more of a fair shot. And then that's the same with the daily limit. You can only spend so much per day, and you can only spend so much per gig. So these limitations do prevent others from being able to just wash over everyone else who can't spend as much. That's positive. The negative is I think the limitation, how low they have it, makes it very, very difficult to make an actual difference. I mean, I do get a lot of exposure. I do get a lot of clicks. But if I was to lose all that money that I got through promoting over the months and the years, it really isn't that much. There's not a big difference. If I wasn't promoting, it really wouldn't feel like anything changed. Mostly that's because of the limit. I can tell that if I put in more, because again, I've been able to look back over it, I can tell that if I put in a little bit more, that there would be a bigger profit, that there would be more exposure. Right now, basically, for every dollar I spend, I basically make back $10 for one particular gig. All the other gigs, I think there's one other gig that's mildly successful, and that one's basically for every dollar I spend, I get $2 back. The 1 to 10, that one's really, really good. That one's my most successful gig anyway. And if I could spend a little bit more, like if I could take all of the money that I was spending on the other one and put all of that, do, twice as much on just that one gig, it would actually be more worth it. But again, the limitation prevents me from being able to do more than that. And per month, the promoted gig really doesn't do that much for me. Now, I'm not saying that it won't do that much for you. I'm not saying that there aren't people out there who benefit from it wildly. I'm not going to say that because I don't know everyone's situation. And I don't know exactly what it is that makes one gig more successful than another one. And the funny thing is that the two gigs that I'm talking about that I promote, one of them is my character demo, my character gig, and the other one is my cartoon gig. These are both very, very similar, but one of them is more specific, the other one's more vague. I started out, when you start out on Fiverr, you have only a certain number of gigs that you can have, and so my character was animation, video game, cartoon, all of that wrapped in one. And then when I could be more specific, I had more gigs available to me, I decided to break it down. I got video game, I got cartoon, I got anime, all that kind of stuff. But the character gig, because it had got more exposure, is still more popular. Even though the character and cartoon are almost exactly the same. They're very, very similar. But one of them, the character one, is just, even promoted, is just way more successful. And I have no idea why. So it's very, very interesting. There's a lot of stuff that I don't quite understand, don't quite get on that side. But will I say that it's a waste to promote? No. If you have really, really good gigs, it's not a waste. It doesn't break the bank either. The amount that you spend per month is not that bad. I easily make that back through the promoted gigs. Easily. Even the one that's not super successful makes up for it. But it's not a huge profit. So if I was to not be promoting through the promoted gigs on Fiverr and promoted some other way, through Twitter, Facebook, what have you, probably be more successful and probably make a higher profit, especially considering those other platforms are free. So it's kind of I think it's something that if you have a day job, you have expendable capital, you should try. But let's say you do it for a year and you really don't see any success on any of your gigs, stop doing it. Just stop promoting. I don't think it's going to make a difference. The other feature that I would like them to have, and this is really the only still standing true gripe I have on the promoted gigs feature, is the fact that I don't know when they bill me. I have no idea. I don't know how much money is left in my revenue or my, what is it? It's not revenue. It's reservoir, my financial reservoir. I don't know. They bill you and then they store that money so that they can promote. But I don't know how much is left in there. I don't know when they bill me, and I have no control over that. I would like to have control over that. I would like the ability to, let's say I'm going into a very, very lucrative month from promoting. I would like the ability to go ahead and front load all the money that I'm going to need to promote that month in advance. Just go ahead and put all that in there and then not have to worry about it. I would like to be able to see how much is in there. Because I get random, it's incredibly random as to when I get charged. Was it $20 to $30 or whatever? It's very random. And I don't like, as a businessman, as someone who runs his own business, I don't like unknown variables. I don't like stuff being out of my control. I like having some control. So if they could tweak that, they could add a little bit more nuanced control to that, that would be great. That'd be really, really good. Also, I would like to have a better breakdown as far as information to help me figure out why some gigs are more successful. Who is it? What countries? What time of day? What demographic? Who was it that clicked on my gigs? And, when did they click on it? That kind of stuff. Because if I find out that the promoted gig only works with a certain age group, and then I find out that, the only people that are actually hiring me are 50 to 7-year-olds, let's just say, and they're all from Canada or from the Middle East or whatever. Then the video game or cartoon gigs make sense why they might not be as successful, because that means that the 50 to 70 is probably more businessmen that are looking for promoted. They're looking to make commercials or promos, and they want animation. They want more animation. Now, I could go back through all my gigs and look at every single one of the gigs that I had gotten over the years, and the ones that have the promoted icon. But I kind of wish that all that information was all available on the promoted features, because it's all relevant to that one thing. I wish I didn't have to search over all of Fiverr to gather all the information to do the calculations. Kind of wish it was all in one place. Other than those two things that just, kind of take away control, I think it's fine. I think it's actually gotten better. Far superior than what it was when it first rolled out. It's far better. I don't think it's a waste, but I don't see it as necessary. It's not something that's going to change your success level on Fiverr. It's going to make a very, very small fraction of your business, because you still have to be getting a certain amount of orders and a certain amount of exposure before they even allow a gig to be promoted. If it hasn't reached a certain bar, you're not going to be able to promote it. So if you're starting out, you still have to have a good demo. You still have to have good marketing. You still have to have good information on there to get the work in order to be able to promote it. So it's not really going to make or break anything. By the time you're actually getting the ball rolling and people are actually clicking and buying on a regular basis, you don't really need to promo. You don't really need to promote. People are already going to start seeing you. People are already buying you, and hopefully you're getting reoccurring clients. So it's a different feature that isn't necessary for Fiverr. I do think it's good, as in it's done well as of now, but it can still be better. That's it. That's all I'm going to leave you with. Those are my thoughts. Unless something radical changes about the promoted gigs thing, this is probably really going to be the last video I talk about it. That's pretty much it. And mostly when I do these kinds of videos, it's not necessarily for you guys. It actually is for the people that I talk about. When I do a lot of website reviews, yes, the information is for you. I'm trying to give you my inside information and my thoughts on a particular platform. But every now and then, like with castingcall.club, they see my video and they actually apply the changes. I don't know if Fiverr did that based on my other videos. I'm not going to say that they did. They probably, they're wildly more popular and I'm wildly not. So why would they even spend the time? But sometimes some people do see my videos, and hopefully if it's a feature that would benefit everyone, I kind of would like to see them implement it. But that's going to be it. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Totally fine. Subscribe if you're new, bell for notifications, and leave down in the comment section below. Like to see me cover any other topics. Yeah, and my email is down in the description if you want to talk to me personally. Totally fine. And that's going to be it. Until next time, peace.